All right, so I've had some people asking me about how to teach or explain the joint motions or actions. So we're going to do just a quick review of anatomy. Okay, so our first motion, and the reason why I'm wearing black is so you guys can see me, there's a contrast here. Our first motion will start from kind of the neck and work our way down to your feet. The neck does 4 different positions. It will do rotation, so it rotates to the right and to the left. It will do flexion, so moving your chin down towards your sternum or your torso. It will do cervical extension, so that's your head going up or back. And the last one is called lateral flexion, and that's kind of like bringing your ear down to your shoulder. Okay, so those are the 4 neck actions or motions or movements that your cervical spine does. We'll go into trunk. Your trunk will rotate. Okay, so I will demonstrate that. It will rotate to the left. It will rotate to the right. It will side bend. Okay, or this is also called lateral flexion. Okay, the other 2 are the basics. We have trunk flexion, or like a crunch position, and then we have back extension, so your body's moving back. Okay, let me demonstrate those a little bit better. So trunk flexion is your upper torso moving forward, and trunk extension is your shoulders moving back. So you can do that laying on the floor, standing up. Again, those are both trunk flexion and trunk extension. So we'll go into kind of your shoulder anatomy. Your shoulders, they create shoulder flexion, or rising or coming up to the front. Shoulder extension is going back or moving backwards. You have internal shoulder rotation that happens at your shoulder joints. You have external shoulder rotation that happens. You have what's called shoulder abduction, ABD, that is going up or away from the midline of the body, and then coming down in or towards the midline is called shoulder adduction. And then the last 2 are horizontal shoulder adduction, ADD, and then going back or away is horizontal shoulder abduction. Okay, so those are the different, there's 6 positions that your shoulder does. Okay, we'll move on to the hip. I'm going to do this on the table so you can see some of these. Okay, so the first one is going to be hip flexion. Okay, that's raising your leg up. Again, hip flexion is raising your leg up. Okay, I'll show you hip extension, which is going to be bringing your leg back or raising it up, depending if you're laying down. I will show this standing up. Okay, same thing, hip flexion, lifting your leg. Hip extension, raising it or lifting it back. Okay, we also have internal hip rotation, so my hip is rotating internally. We have external, it's rotating externally, so I'm using my foot as a prop, internal, external hip rotation. And we also have hip ABD, so this is hip abduction. And then bringing your leg into the midline is hip ADD, or hip abduction. Okay, so those are kind of the hip motions. Our knee, kind of a simple joint. There's 2 that I'm going to review. There's some other positions, more advanced, but you really don't need to know that. Your knee will flex. Okay, it will bend. Okay, that's called knee flexion. It will straighten or extend. Okay, that is knee extension. So knee flexion, coming back. Knee extension, straighten out your leg or knee. Okay, so simple. Your knee does rotate slightly. Again, kind of more advanced, don't really need to know that. We'll go into the ankle. So I'll try to do this in a profile view. Your ankle's pulling up off the floor, and it's hard to do with both legs. So basically lifting your toes up towards your shin is called dorsal flexion or Dorsi flexion. You'll see it either way. Okay, that is pulling your toes up to your shin. That uses the muscles on the front of your leg. Okay, doing a calf raise or raising up on your tippy toes. That is called plantar flexion. Okay, so a little bit of Latin terminology. That is raising your heels off the floor. That works the back or the calf or gastrocnemius muscles. Some other motions that your ankle and lower leg do is rotating in. So I call this ankle adduction, ADD. Okay, some people might call that tibial internal rotation. Okay, and then we have rotating out. Okay, so that is ankle ABD, ankle abduction, or external tibial rotation, again, however you want to refer to that. So we have some other ankle movements. We have rotating your feet up is pronation, and rotating them out. I got those backwards, sorry. Let's review again. Rotating them up is supination, sup, up. Rotating them down or in is pronation. These are also referred to as inversion and eversion. So this is kind of a hard one to see. Again, you have wrist positions, so I'll go through those real quick. Your wrist is going to extend, okay, or fingers are going to go towards the back of your wrist. It's going to flex or come towards your forearm. You're going to have a lateral flexion, medial flexion, and then you're going to have what's called supination. Okay, so that's your palms coming up, pronation, palms going down. Okay, your fingers are going to flex and they're going to extend. Your toes will do the same thing. They will flex and then they will extend. Okay, so those are basic Anatomy 101 joint motions and actions. So I encourage you to learn more about those. Research, look on the internet. Great information, and will really help you on understanding some of the textbooks and different discussion topics about anatomy. So thank you for your time. This is Science of Cardio.